Okay.
It's like giving an ugly man.
You gonna help me shop?
Sure. Yeah, I'm finishing up a prompt here quick, so let me do that. And I want to do some setup. Okay, basketballs. Pick a hobby, man. Just kidding.
Jim and I told me to increase my testosterone. It told me to consider lunges or squats. I'm like, man, what about basketball? Can I just play basketball? And it said, yeah, that'll work. So I drove to Hialeah last night and I grabbed the basketball. I don't know if you ever heard of Hialeah, Florida. Mm-hmm. It's a Spanish city outside of Miami. It's still Miami, but so I had these headphones on, and while people were playing basketball, I just had my own half court to myself. Man, I'm trying not to use racial epithets, but like I bricked the ball after like maybe 45, 50 minutes of shooting around. And I went back and I let the ball just roll. And I went to the bench to check my phone for a couple minutes. I looked back, my ball was gone.
Jeez.
I couldn't have found.
What took your ball?
I don't want to think that they stole my ball, but dude, like a ball can't roll only so far. Like someone walked off with my ball, man, within like 2 minutes. Who does that? Freaking Cubans,
thieves.
Man. Hialeah. Don't go to Hialeah, man.
You need to find a nice like YMCA with a bunch of old people in the neighborhood that play basketball.
No,
then dominate.
No, I'm not interested. One is I don't have kneecaps, man, so I can't. I suck. I haven't shot a ball in like 2-3 years, and the last time I shot a ball, it was doing the same thing, driving to a park and just shooting around by myself and airballing and bricking the entire time. And I usually try to do this thing where every time you miss a shot, you have to follow up with running and do a layup.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have kneecaps, dude. I'm like a grandfather, man. So, anyways.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So you're looking for new basketball, then? Let's get the classic.
I want a ball that no one
want.
I want a ball that no one. What's this right here? I want a ball that doesn't look like anybody else's ball. So when someone tries to walk off with it, like, "Hey, you give me back my ball." So, but I like black, but I don't want black and blue. This one, that looks gay. Nah. I kind of want this one. Of course, it's unavailable. Yeah, I want a black or like very, very like charcoal color basketball. Of course, they don't have it.
Have you looked at actually just putting your name on one? I mean, so like Google this instead of going to Amazon. Google custom basketballs.
Hold on for 1 second.
Wilson has the ability to build. But I think it's like, I don't know if you can. Oh yeah, you can pick colors, and then you can put your personalization on it. So what color did you want?
Like a charcoal color. What is it, like Etsy or something? Is Etsy still a thing?
Yeah, Etsy is still a thing, but maybe you can't get a specific color for the ball itself, though. I wonder if you can, or if you can pick the base of a different color and then customize it. Oh, so you can like personalize, but it doesn't look like you can select the. You can put your name literally on it, but it doesn't look like you can do a lot of customizations outside of the Wilson logo. Let me see here. I don't know if you're looking at that too, but build your own. So you pick the size of the ball, which is design your Evo NXT or design your Evolution. So let's go men 12 plus. So you can do logo colors, and you can add text or a graphic, actually, it looks like. Oh, well, it's what graphics that they have. So you can put like an S on it, and then you can pick the color for that. But you can't pick like the base color of the ball. It's like they have two very specific balls for it. This is Wilson, though, so there might be other ones that do high-end custom, which I feel like high-end things are your deal. Although Amazon's got custom.
Yeah, I'm kind of bougie. And the thing is I'll probably play with this ball probably 2 more times. I'll probably buy this damn near $70 basketball, play with it like 2 times, and then it just sits in my son's bedroom for like another 3 years until I move out.
Well, you could always put your name on it and then memorialize it, and then your son's got, his dad's custom basketball. That's kind of a cool thing, right? Something to remember when 40, 50 years from now when we're gone. It's going to be like, oh yeah, this was my dad's custom basketball. His name on it. We got to talk offline why you have that mentality. I don't know if I'm not knowing something, but it worries me.
So I got damn, do I want to pull the trigger on the $70?
For what? Ball?
Thing is like my legs are actually sore as of this morning.
Here's a custom ball you can get. It's looks like a hamburger, cartoon hamburger.
I'm gonna pull the trigger.
No one will have that ball.
Proceed to check out. My name is Scott. I'm on the block. Run up on. Pull out my. How do I?
Glock.
Pull out my Glock. How do I change my payment method? Unfortunately, this isn't a business expense, so. It's a $70 basketball. I'll throw it on my mantle.
Now get one with an air with a built-in air tracker or whatever those things are.
Oh, why would I do that?
So then, if someone takes the ball, you can go find it, hunt them down, bounty hunter style. Knock in their door, say, "Give me my ball back."
Give me my ball. So,
then you get shot.
Like, I got good news. Hold on. Hit run. My name is Scott. I'm on the block. So I've been working on this, man, and I'm I'm essentially done with the mobile app. Now I have to build, and when I say mobile app, including the local data store. And so now what's left is the next phase of building out the web server. And the thing is I'm going to I want to build this just like I built Beach Mobile. I want to exercise the option to spin up an environment from scratch. And so yeah, I'm going to use Pulumi in addition to building out the server. And I project that may take me probably another 2 weeks to at my pace to complete. And then I'll probably have to test the iOS version. So I'll probably buy like an iPad or an iPhone Touch, not iPhone. What do you call that thing? What's the
pot or like a
no? It's what's the it's a phone. It looks like a phone, but you can't make calls. It's something touch. You know what I'm talking about. It's the same for it looks just like a phone, but you can't make calls, and it's like I don't know, $800 cheaper. Anyway, so I'll probably buy that as a test device, and I'm good to go, dude. So yeah, I gotta write a weather service so that these details right here get filled in depending on the location that you set. Uh, it's this speed takes forever because it's pulling from a JSON file. Okay, I thought I just clicked equipment. What just happened? Okay. Yeah, I think I have to do some what do you call it? When you don't want to load pagination. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do some pagination with this page, this equipment page. So it doesn't load in like 100 different pieces or 100 different images. Yeah, this JSON is taking way too long. So yeah, man, that's taking a long time. It's video thumbnails, community insights where people ask questions, post comments, whatever. That's it. There's an edit mode. What's this unlock thing right here? Saving to locker. Should probably be a save icon and not a lock icon.
Yeah, lock does not indicate save for sure. And that's an emoji, not an icon. But emojis can be used as icons, so I'm being stupid. I have a pretty big week with work this week. Got assigned to a lead of a small team, and then I'm filling in for a lead for another team, and I'm got my annual review, and we've had this big shuffle towards AI and different ways of work that I'm kind of deeply invested in. So it's been a really busy week. I've been waking up at 3:30 every day and I can't shut it off.
Oh,
Yeah. I've got
that's nothing. That's nothing. I've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
This is why I think
know.
my testosterone levels are down because of interrupted sleep and not letting my testicles like roast for 8 hours.
She eat eggs.
That's what Gemini told me.
Yeah, eggs have got a lot of cholesterol, and cholesterol is a precursor to testosterone. You need it to make it.
Yeah.
Which is probably why I've never been a high testosterone guy, because I hated eggs for like up until maybe like, I didn't hate them, but I could eat scrambled eggs, but I didn't enjoy eggs really up until maybe like 2 years ago. I started to really eat a lot more eggs.
Was your wife
maybe
thankful?
A year ago.
Was your wife thankful?
Oh, yeah, it's not going to undo, 40 years of not eating eggs, but eggs and red meat, man. Eggs and red meat.
Yeah, so like
also gives a lot of collagen that would be good for your kneecaps too.
You can't rebuild it's not called collagen. What's it called?
Well, collagen's good for skin and like
cartilage.
It's good for connective tissues and tendons, and because this is all made out of cartilage. So collagen, like collagen's used as protein to build those things. So you can obviously synthesize collagen, but if you just give your body collagen, it's really helpful. A lot of that's in meat and eggs.
Okay.
And actually shrimp. You eat a lot of shrimp. Shrimp have got a lot of collagen. They're like a considerable amount of collagen. Or pork rinds. Pork rinds are... You ever eat pork rinds? They're great.
No, that's white people food. I don't do that.
Oh, dude, they're so good. Like, pick up a bag of pork rinds and let me know what you think next time. Well, have you eaten pork rinds before?
I've had it. It's not my first pick.
Yeah, it feels weird because you're eating pig skins that are fried, but
doesn't seem healthy at all.
Well, it depends on what you think of as healthy. Like, it's obviously got fat in it because it's fried in lard, but it's zero carb, right? It's not a complete protein, so you don't actually get your daily recommended dose out of it, but it has a ton of protein and it's all collagen. Yeah. So, and they're freaking good. Not what do they call them? It starts with a ch, but where it's really like dense fried pork rinds, but pork rinds are good. They're one of the favorite snacks among people that are on a carnivore diet because it's the closest thing to a chip that you generally can get. So they sell these ones around here that have like this nacho cheese flavor on it. And oh man, I could eat a whole bag at a time of those. They're so good. There's also a spicy one, but that's not great if you want to have a good morning the next morning. Anyways,
go to Africa with me. Let's do a safari.
Yeah, shisharones. That's
watch some animals murder other animals with their faces.
Yeah. Oh, shisharones are the cinnamon version, right? Of a pork rind. It's all fried skin with cinnamon sugar.
I don't know.
Yeah. So what else is new?
I'm motivated to get this app shipped to see if it does anything to my life. And then I gotta make a commercial and try to recruit some influencers. That's it. That's my plans when it comes to tech. Dude, you ever feel like you're a waste of talent?
A waste of talent?
Yeah.
You mean that you're wasting your talent, or that people
Yeah.
are wasting your talent? Like you yourself, I guess.
No,
Frame that differently.
I try to hold myself accountable. The first part, meaning you have talent, you have potential, but you opt into just being comfortable versus full throttle.
Yeah, yeah. That's what Dave Rail always used to say. We should catch up with him sometime. Um, that'd be a fun one to do. Is just have him on and see what he's doing nowadays. I haven't talked to him for years now. But yeah, no, he always said like comfort's the enemy of growth was his like tagline. And yeah, I mean, I exactly like, and it's always like something that you're like, oh, if I could just learn to do this better, maybe that would unlock everything. Like for me, I was thinking about this the other day and I've been thinking about this for a long time. Like I don't have great small talk or like icebreakery type. Like if I sit, like I was at this offsite a couple weeks ago, and it's like as soon as you run out of ideas, it's like of talking, which I run out of quickly. It's like I don't know how to talk to people, like one on one, and then yet I talk to people online all the time, and it's easy. But in person, small talk and that it's a skill, and it's not one that I get to exercise very much. So,
Oh,
yeah.
you're talking about at work. You don't know how to talk to people one on one.
Well, just in general too, out in the world, like there's people that you meet that are just they have interesting stories. They
You gotta
yeah,
you have to
they know how to talk to you.
If I can guess, the first step is you have to find something that you have in common to build rapport, and that'll be like the catalyst for a conversation.
Yeah, and that's what basically all of them is. Like you come up with this list of here's the like 3 or 4 questions you ask to solicit what they're interested in, and then the real trick to small talk is supposedly, or like talking to people, is to get them to talk. Nobody wants to hear you drone on. The best thing is people who can solicit things, listen intently, and not just wait for their turn to talk. And that kind of a thing.
Yeah. Only thing is, and I don't know if this is like part of being a narcissist. I'm not really in there. The majority of people, I'm not interested. like I don't. They're not interesting to me, right? If I engage, it's either because they're female and it's biological, like okay, go through the motions, and yeah, let me just listen to what they have to say, get it over with, so then I can try to escalate. Or it's like something that I'm genuinely interested in, like engineering or something that has to do with like design, whether it's biological or anything. I'm not interested in celebrities. I'm not interested in what 90% of Instagram is interested in. Like, I have no interest in people. I have interest in things, right? Unless it's like UFC or something like combat, like fighting. But I don't care about people. People are boring. Like I like things. Why am I going to talk about you? Why am I going to talk about someone else if I could just talk about what I'm trying to accomplish in life? That's a better investment of my time and conversation piece.
Yeah, but it's no, it's not narcissistic. I guess it depends on what your goals are too. So like, if you're trying to become more popular and to get more people to like you and to build a network, which is really important, right? I think that there's a certain base level of you have to genuinely connect with people, and to do that you have to care about them, and have high touch follow-ups and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely not something that for me comes naturally.
I mean, to be a salesman, or you can just do something that generally hasn't been done, and then people gravitate towards you. So, for example, I'm going to butcher his name, Linus Torvalds. How you say his name?
Yeah, Linus Torvalds. Yeah.
Okay, not a people person. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, he creates things that people gravitate towards, and people are then interested in him. And maybe he's better at talking to people today than he did 15, 20 years ago. But you don't really have to care about people. You don't really have to be humane to have a following. It's just 90% of people tend to take that path because they're not incredibly interesting and they don't really create things. They don't build things that people admire. That's my thought.
Yeah. Again, it depends on the goals and stuff like that. And you can definitely get to a level of fame and popularity by creating something, but you can also just make great connections with people, and then they, you naturally get this network effect of, oh, you got to meet this person and whatever. I guess too, like I saw this study, or at least someone repeated back what they said was a study, was in high school, the highest indicator of popularity was the people who liked the most people. Like they were able, it's not like you're a jock or you're good at a sport or you made something or whatever. It's the people who liked the most people tend to be the most popular people. And I think that's because if you like someone, you take interest in them, you let them tell you about themselves. People love talking about themselves, and then they get a good feeling about you, like, oh, that's somebody who I can talk to and I can tell about all of these things I'm really interested in. And so if you have that mindset or that inclination to be interested and like people, it shifts the entire setup. But I think my problem with it is that I've got the I know what you're going to say problem already, and I want to get to the next thing. So I don't really want to listen to the rest of your. I don't want to and this is, I guess, I'm not diagnosing myself, but I think this is a trait, supposedly a trait among is it ADHD or ADD or maybe even an autism type thing. But the idea is you hear somebody start saying something and you're like, oh, I know how they're going to finish this. I've already played out the rest of their conversation in my mind. So I don't need to listen to them tell me the rest. I know what they're going to say. I've grasped the idea already, get to the next thing.
Yeah, that drives me crazy.
So then you wait for your turn to talk because you're you have to consciously not interrupt them while you're, and then your mind starts to wander and then you lose the narrative and it's all just like a bad thing. Oh, I can stream to my audience now. Interesting. StreamYard. But I was thinking about, how I was telling you should lock in and learn Claude and learn AI and stuff like that. I think you should still do that. But I was just thinking while we were sitting here talking that, it would be a good thing for you to do is build your own version of Claude Code or Cursor or something.
Why would I do
build
that?
your own harness? What? Well, because you say you don't like CLI. Okay, well, this predicated on whether or not, like I said, you want to continue in this field for the next few years at least. But AI is going to be a necessity if it's not already.
Let's think about it. I don't trust myself around guns, but what prevents me from just getting a crossbow, buying a cabin? I don't know how much a cabin costs. I don't think a cabin will cost more than $40,000 in the middle of Montana or something.
Oh,
and I just start I almost said gunning down. I just started crossbowing down elk and bison. And I just live off the land. Or do people not do that in Alaska, where they have extremely low costs? Dude, I can't hear you. Oh, did I mute you?
Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you could live out your entire life probably at this point if you just exit your possessions, buy a small plot of land somewheres in a place that has low property tax or no property tax.
Yeah,
And
start
then
crossbowing bison and elk. Just
yeah.
like a
Well,
Comanche.
there's game wardens and things like that. There's whatever, but like you can't just go kill an elk. Maybe in a survival situation.
Well, I
like
mean,
there's
hunting
too
season.
much
I could kill something with whatever they say.
Oh yeah,
is
yeah,
too
yeah,
much
yeah.
of.
Yeah, but then there's like, depending on the population control, this is a whole like the system you can get into though. Is like they do wildlife management, so
I know. I've been watching.
they have tags that you have to go
I've
to a
been
lottery for.
watching. I've been watching fish and wildlife videos for the past week of them catching people fishing, catching people killing animals that are on a do not kill list. It's interesting. It's interesting that
you could,
an enforcement officer can walk up to somebody with a rifle and confront them. Like,
yeah. Well, most hunters are well, there's poachers obviously, but most hunters are pretty good people. So I don't think that's got to be on conservation officers' mind all the time, and they got to be very conscious of it. But at least around here, most hunters are good folk, and they're just out doing their thing. And like I got stopped by by a really attractive conservation officer when I was out fishing last time, and she's nice, and just wanted to see my license and make sure I was up to
compliant
on the level, and and we were both respectful to each other, and it was great interaction. So
this is when you went ice fishing.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever had the DNR stop in when I've been ice fishing. So
Department, what's NR?
Natural Resources.
Well,
Department of Natural Resources.
It's not Fish and Wildlife.
I don't know if it's probably called Fish and Wildlife in other states. In Minnesota, it's called the DNR, the Department of Natural Resources.
Okay.
But I don't know if the federal is like a different name, but Forestry Service maybe, or Park Service, or I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, you should build your own darn thing, or buy the plot and just go live it, man. Get a small house, It's about the size of your, well, it'd be smaller than your apartment, but you could build it out of containers or something. Throw it on a plot of land.
So
this is my taxes.
This is my bucket list of things that I want to at least like test the waters on. So between $8,000 and $12,000, I could take flight lessons or pilot lessons for a small aircraft. That's $12,000 like commitment to earning a private pilot license. I'm scared of heights, but I don't know. Like my dad used to always play flight simulator. You have to load like 2-3 quarter floppy disks into the computer to download the game or whatever. So that's something that I'm considering. The other one is maybe not this weekend, but maybe next weekend. Take scuba diving lessons and work on getting a very basic certification for diving. That's something that I'm also considering. One of my mentors, they do that. I was chopping up with him a couple of days ago, and he was telling me about it. Because there's when I was in Mexico, there's a number of cenotes or blue holes that people. You're familiar with blue holes?
I think I've got a mental image of them, but tell me about them.
Blue holes are. I might butcher the description.
Are they just pools with really deep?
They're pools that that overlay underwater caves.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. So, not saying that I'm interested in diving inside blue holes, but I'm interested in. I don't know. I want to develop. I'm kind of interested in developing more skills that can just be helpful in life, and I'm outdoorsy, right? So I like being outdoors. I hate being held up in here, unless I'm booed up with a chick or something. I don't like being by myself indoors. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, do it. Life's ticking away, man. Pick one. You want me to flip a coin for you? Scuba's heads.
Yeah, I think the scuba diving is cheaper than the pilot license.
Tails, pilot license. There you go. There's an answer for you. Might not be the answer you want.
Yeah, I'm not interested in I'm kind of motivated to get this mobile app out the door and then see all 5 downloads from people. But outside of that, I'm not interested in building software if I'm not interested in building software unless it's something that I think really needs to be solved. What really needs to be solved?
What really needs to be solved? Something that I've been thinking about that I really want to solve. There's the main one is a better way for humans to review code. I mean, that's just like, obviously we're in tech, so these are problems, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, and I've always had a problem because I want to build like a product, but I don't have enough problems that I actually need to solve, like that I feel like I need to solve that aren't solved by something that I could just get. So I have interest in trying to solve a problem better, but not a problem that's not solved.
Here's something that we talked about earlier. Like, you can work on Detard Me. And closely related to it, and it's more like a Black Mirror episode, and I think this will only work for people that have been around probably for like the last or have been active on the internet maybe for the last 15 years, is to have AI consume all their network traffic, and then when they pass, you basically create a digital clone of them. Only thing is they can't report to you new experiences. They can only report to you everything that they've ever shared on the internet in a conversational way. So they may be able to reminisce. They may be able to, all the photos that they post, those photos have metadata on it, right? So those photos have time, day, and GPS location, which can be mapped out to like vacations, and then you can streamline from their network of friends the time, day, and that location of what people shared on social media. And so in theory, you can have a clone of someone that's dead, that they're still alive digitally, and they're really a bot with a person's published memories and personality. You can work on that.
Yeah, actually, I mean,
that's how you keep them alive.
Call it like conversations with dad or something like that, and you build yourself up. And
I go to like obituary. I think it's obituary.com. It may be a different URL. I'm not sure. But there's this dude that he died probably 20 years ago, and I get reminders. Sometimes I get reminders via email. Other times I just think about him, and I'll just go to his guest page on that website, and I'll just look at the note that I left and the notes that other people left that I actually do know. I don't know. It's probably weird, huh?
Yeah, there's this movie called Mountainhead where it's about big tech CEOs and it's like they're over the top, but one of the things is like, oh yeah, digital is this idea of like I want to live on past my life because the one guy's got cancer or something, and he's like, I want to live on beyond my life, and I want to have my entire brain uploaded to the web so that I can persist in that way for forever. But no, I mean, I guess you could have some sort of play on the Turing test. You know, the Turing test where if you're talking to a chat bot type thing and you can't tell which one's the human, that's passing the Turing test. You could have something where it's a variant of that, or where it's.
I mean, that's
how can you get a chatbot where you don't know that you're not talking to the person themselves, and there's very little, like, their personality is identical, the way they think, the way they answer questions and operate is all identical or close as.
I mean, that's already here though.
Approximation.
So that's already here though. That's not a
Yeah, but it's your idea and productizing it, right? It's your digital personality archive.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. You could do it. Go for it. Build it. Use Claude to build it, though.
Well, the thing is
fast.
You bundle it to a deep fake, and then that's when things start appearing real, right? So for someone that's been heavily on internet for like the last 15 years with photos, and really all you need is a photo, because even with what's that platform, Higgsfield, you give it a photo and then they'll create a video of that character from the snapshot photo that you gave it. So you
can do a lot with like filters too, like
So you take the combination of someone's internet traffic from Reddit, Facebook, from all these social media platforms, from papers that they've published, everything, right? And then you take all the photos and videos of them that's been published on the internet, and then you create a deep fake of them. And then it's really a bot that has everything that they've shared on the internet that you could just interface with and talk to. And for people that are really struggling in their life, that, you know, lost their spouse, lost their sibling, you know, this is kind of weird, because it's like, okay, what are we really entertaining? Are we helping people, or are we contributing to a problem? Are we contributing to a delusion? Kind of like the whole nothing related to the whole tranny thing of Biden's era. But are you helping people, or are you aiding them in their delusion?
Here's a variant of that actually has practical application in thing. Create a new version of LinkedIn, not LinkedIn, but what you're doing instead is you upload all of you do that. It's kind of, you could take Nikkei's and turn it into this, right? The idea of it. But you build a digital twin of yourself that has all of your knowledge within the space that you would be working in an industry, and you distill that into a bot, and then basically, like, anybody could come in and pre-interview your bot to see whether or not they might want to actually interview you. And so, like, it would be more of, rather than looking at resumes and stuff, people could, and you could just feed this to recruiters, like, you know, and you just give it all of your like feelings about like what you want to work on, what you don't want to work on, what you have worked on, what your interests are. You maybe what you do is you have conversations with it and it solicits information from you, and it builds a profile of yourself. And then you get to the point where that chatbot is literally has enough information about your professional life that somebody could come in and interview that chatbot version of yourself before they come to interview you, type of a thing. And vice versa, actually, the opposite could be true. Like the interviewers themselves.
I'm totally seeing that being abused.
Oh yeah. Any of this could be used, like especially for scamming, right? Okay, yeah, especially for scamming. Like they could literally take your identity. You'd have to have strong controls around it. But theoretically, it's not a terrible idea if you're interviewing someone for a job and it builds out the most complex professional profile about what your interest. Like for me, it'd be like anybody's like, we want you to do like 50% DevOps work. I'd be like, yeah, there's no way I'm going to take that job. I don't want to do that kind of work. I'm not interested in it whatsoever. Like there's no desire. It's a necessary evil in my mind. It's not something I want to do. And that bot could be trained with that knowledge. So it's like, yeah, here's your thing. Do you want to do 50% DevOps? And be like, no, this isn't something that I'm generally interested in, or it could be maybe framed more as a personal assistant type thing than you, like your agent, your like work agent, to not to reframe agents, but you get what I'm saying. Like build a next level a job tool, professional work social network, and then get acquired by LinkedIn, and then you can just buy half of Hawaii.
What are you building? Because I talked to you I think I called you or something, and you said that you're in a session building something. What are you?
I've been building all sorts of stuff, but they're mostly throwaways. So like one thing I built that I was interested in, which actually exists already. I was exploring the idea of connecting an agent like Claude into the language symbol server. So like when you go to refactor code and you hit like F2 or Control RR or whatever, and you rename something, that uses the symbol server to go rename everything across all of the code, right? So you can tap agents right into that. Claude's got an LSP extension or built-in support for this, where it can use that avenue rather than that. So I was setting up a thing where Rosalind would read the code. It would be a server. Rosalind sits there, grabs it, and there's a CLI that the agent uses to actually execute updates to your code through that refactoring, or the way we think of it as refactoring mechanism, rather than going directly to the file. So I worked on that for a little bit, and then I worked on. So you're familiar with spec-driven development, or the idea, which is taking
SpecFlow, BDD.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of that, but agents are I think the industry might move towards spec-driven development more. And so the last thing I've been working on is I want to build a Slack thing where the channels are associated to the products, and your conversations within Slack are what get resolved down to a spec. And then you use a bot, an agent, to realize that spec after you've committed, like, okay, we want to include these changes to the spec for the product at this point in time. So you pick all of the it captures all the requirements and stuff, and then it captures like your change desires or intent, and it kind of does all the work to build out a spec for the change. And then you use an agent to apply that spec change to your actual code base. You don't ever write code, you write specs, but then the agent realizes, and if it gets it wrong, you just then update the spec with the new thing. And there's people working on these problems. Like, I think the entire industry right now in software is no longer like, I'm going to use agents to write code and I'm going to interact with them directly. It's like, what's the abstraction layer higher than that we're going to build? And spec-driven development seems to be the thing. So an example of this is if you go to OpenAI's Symphony. I'll send a link to you. And this isn't a great example, but it at least gets the idea. Home, I can post you a link, but in Symphony, ChatGPT or OpenAI actually published the spec along with their reference implementation. So in their README for that, they actually say, if you want to just build this yourself, just feed the spec to an LLM and it will build your version. So if you want to build the F# version, say, feed it the spec, say, build this in F#, and it will go and execute that in F# in the language, in the tech stack that you want, rather than doing the things. So like specs are actually shippable things now for code, rather than saying, hey, you must use the version I built the way that I built it. You ship the spec as a product, I think. And then people can just have agents realize that in the way that they want it to be realized, and then modify their own versions for their own purposes. So instead of, I'm actually now just thinking about this. I wonder if in the future that will be like a way that SaaS is done, is that people devise very complex specs for systems and say, hey, do you need a CRM? Great, use our spec. It's a spec for one, but you own the code at the end. And so you don't need to use a predefined, like somebody else's vision in a code base or some SaaS product that they built. No, you buy their spec that they've spent a huge amount of time curating and making sure agents can build out. You get an outputted set of code, and now you just customize that to your needs, rather than having to use like plugins or extensions or with their same foundation, or if you have like a headless system where you build the UI but it's got all of the things. This is just totally like me riffing off of this for the last minute, thinking about it. Like, might be a marketplace for selling specs for complex systems that then people can just feed to agents to realize, and then they can use that then for their own internal things. So you can imagine like any business, like if you're building up a manufacturing system or something, you have a spec for a very specific type of thing within a system. And you ship that spec, and then the company buys a spec from you. You've proven without a doubt that agents can build it without needing huge amounts of human investment time. And then, and then they just get an off-the-shelf thing that they can customize because they own the code at the end. So sorry, that was just something that I just thinking about. Like, that wouldn't be a bad, if you could pull it off, or someone could pull it off, it wouldn't be a bad model to try to capitalize on. So it's like instead of it being open source code, it's open source specs.
No, it reminds me of infrastructure as code. I think it's like the same pattern.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the code then like gets materialized or realized into infrastructure, right? So you write the code that gets realized to an entire infrastructure stack. So yeah, it's basically the same idea, except for the infrastructure. The spec is the code, and the infrastructure is, the spec is the code in this thing, but the realization is into code. So that's the infrastructure. But dude, there's a whole new set of problems that you're missing out on that are kind of fun to explore by not getting into agent dev. Yeah, security. Yeah, that's why MCP servers are big. Although most of the industry is now moving away from MCPs already, because it takes up a huge context window, and they're trying to solve that with tool lookups and stuff. But yeah, I mean, how to solve security things and inject the humans where security is needed it's a big deal. You can get into a whole, you could easily position yourself as an AI security expert, which is a field that's going to boom, because everything right now, like all of our, like people are using agents to just log into shit for them. They're using it to do everything for them. Like the Claude thing, or Open Claude, or Open Claw. Now it was like Claude bot before, then it was Moltbot, and now it's Open Claw. did that. And then they had this social network called Moltbook that then Facebook, I think, Meta bought. Like, there's a whole new slew of things out there of opportunities that you're probably not even considering because you haven't gotten deep into development in this world yet. But everyone's trying to solve these same problems. It's how do we utilize AI at a higher level of abstraction so that everything's automated in terms of execution, but we can define our things. So pistols, huh? Or BB guns?
Yeah, BB guns. I'm scared of guns. I can't get a real gun.
What would you use a BB gun for? Shooting squirrels? Otherwise, just get an airsoft gun.
No, I want to shoot like rats.
You ever played airsoft?
I would shoot vermin. Nah.
I think you'd like it. I think you'd like it if you and this is a hobby you can get really decked out in. But airsoft, like, it's like paintball, but it's like the weapons are considerably more real. Like you can get, at least you used to be able to get full replicas of existing guns, like fully automatic guns. Yeah, see that's an airsoft thing. Airsoft is you want airsoft, not BB. It's the same thing except for you can shoot people with them without hurting them. But you wear masks, and like I had people
I want to gun down like rodents.
You could probably with certain airsoft guns kill rodents. They're
pretty
powerful air weapons. Airsoft, yep, yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So like I had an old boss, and I used to play airsoft too, and we played on small things, but he went to events where like they got the permission to use an old decrepit mall that was closed down, and they basically set up a full like scenario thing where you would go through the mall and you would clear areas, and you had to do things like capture the flag, and you wear gear. It hurts a little, especially if you get shot in like the face or something. We had one guy lose half a tooth because he only wore shooting glasses rather than a full mask. But yeah, it's airsoft's a really fun thing if you want to have a military-like experience without actually being in danger.
I mean, isn't that a gateway to actually getting a real arsenal? And then
I know people that have real arsenals of airsoft guns. Like they have multiple like gas-driven. They have sniper rifles. They have everything. I even built a little utility called Airsoftware once. That was what it was it was a system to play domination mode with airsoft. So we hid phones everywhere that were connected to a Wi-Fi router, and those phones would then connect in, and you would run this. Yeah. Oh, I can't hear the sound. So, but yeah. Airsoft's incredibly fun, though. I don't know. That might be the real weapon, though. Was that the?
It looks real as hell.
So that's a green gas one. So a lot of them are powered by little batteries, and you're doing that. But some of them are gas powered, like these ones. This one must be. So then you get like the smoke and stuff that comes out of them. Different fuel, obviously, but there's probably some electronic component.
I'm gonna buy my son one of these, so he could gun down rabbits.
Yeah,
but you can't hear the audio, can you?
No. I actually left two. I had two airsoft guns that we sent off to an airsmith back when I lived. Like, this was 10 years ago. We sent it down, and I never went and like picked it up. And so some airsmith somewhere near the Twin Cities has my guns in a package, and they just they must have it still, or maybe they were like, oh, no one's claiming this, I'm going to sell it myself or whatever. But yeah, it's a fun hobby. You can get really into it. It can be really, really expensive. The only thing is that I would say the worst part about airsoft though is that the people who are really into it are like guys who really, really want to be like, they're not military people, but they really want to be, so they get this like
want to be cops.
Like I had one guy who was like that we played with who would be like, he would try to be the command battlefield manager for everyone. Like, you go over here, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go where I want to go. See ya.
Yeah.
I was like, you're not my commander. You're not my captain or my my commanding officer. I'm not gonna listen to what you said. I'm gonna go play the game. See ya. That kind of, I think that pissed him off a little bit, but I didn't care.
Yeah, I can't. It reminds me of motorcycles.
But you got to shoot those people too.
It reminds me of motorcycles and like how some people want you to ride in formation. It's like, no, like it's my $30,000 motorcycle. Well, now it's $38,000. It's my $38,000 motorcycle. I want to ride it however I want to ride it. I don't want to ride in a line. That's not why I bought it. Right? People get upset when you break formation. I guess I'm not supposed to ride with people like that. Anyways, yeah, I'm too free spirited. I don't like when people try to control. Like, it's okay when it comes to like work, right? But if it's recreational, I don't like people leading me unless I want them to. All right, but.
Mm-hmm.
On Amazon. My name is Scott. Oh, you got me looking at this stuff now.
Right up on the block. Pull out
the most expensive airsoft setup you can typically assemble on Amazon revolves around a high-end gas blowback rifle or a next generation recoil shock. What's the difference?
Yeah, this is you can go down quite a rabbit hole with airsoft. So
spare mag, sidearm. Total
setup. Yep, sidearms. Yep. Yeah, I mean, there's grenades too. Like we had a guy had a grenade. You fill it with the small white pellets. You throw it, it just woo, and freaking shit flies everywhere. All the pellets fly everywhere. Like it's a pretty involved. And there's laws in different places. Like in the UK, you can't have fully automatic airsoft rifles for some reason.
Wow.
And I think certain states might not have that too, but I don't know. And then too, like different airsoft events will have different requirements for how powerful your weapons can be. So there's actually a tool that will measure the speed of the BBs coming out of it. I can't remember what the term is, but you basically do this, you run it, it measures it, and then you're like, okay, we can use this weapon, or no, this is too high powered, it's going to hurt people in like if you're doing a close quarters thing. So they'll prevent that. So like if you're playing in a big open field, you might have a really high powered sniper rifle airsoft gun. That's okay. But in a small close quarters combat, you would limit it to weapons with a lower shooting power. And there's different BBs have different like weights to them.
Dude, I saw this.
Usually what I do. I
had this in my Call of Duty.
Yep. Yeah. No, I mean, it, like I said, this is a whole sport and whole thing. You could go, like, I got big into it for a while. Like I really enjoyed playing airsoft.
You take it with you when you go ice fishing?
No. I wasn't into ice fishing back then, but no, we would play at one of our people's, like we played at a track once, it was like a ATV track with a bunch of woods around it. And so like we had scenarios like, all right, so you have to get your team from A to B, and the other team is going to be is going to hunt you basically. So you win if you get to the point. So what we ended up doing for that one, which was really stupid because it was boring as sin, is we went way outside the main play area and just walked up and then went back in. So we won. Like we achieved the thing, but it was a slog and there was no actual action. It was boring as hell. But I had an M4 and my wife had a, oh shoot, what did she have?
That's not good.
I don't know. But I have an AUG still. Could you get the same kinds of things you get people with red dot scopes, you get scopes, you get different magazines that you can use. You can play off of pretty much any era of warfare. Like if you want to have a
dude, that looks cool.
M1.
How much is a mag? How much is a mag?
This isn't prohibitively expensive. You can get really expensive, but you can go pretty cheap all the way up to, like, we had some that were like super fully automatic and
reviewing
yeah,
the Humorex DFC you are used to.
Yeah, a lot of these things though are like, that's out of compliance for and I did this too. I put black tape around my orange tip because you're supposed to have orange tips on these so people know you're not shooting real weapons. Actually, one story that I was told was that they had this big airsoft event in Fargo, I want to say, and they had it all cleared out. So they have to actually, that was the thing I was talking about, measuring the speed. Like, be ahead of these things. If you're having an event, you have to basically call the police and tell them, like, we're doing this event. This is where it is. This is what it is. We're not a big paramilitary force, because they got cops called on them once because they thought it was this paramilitary force forming ready to like go and shoot up a town type of a thing. And so they like called the police on them, and it's like, no, this is just an airsoft event. We're playing a game. Chill out type of a thing. So we had one guy who would, every time we'd play, wherever we'd go, he'd call the sheriff and tell him, look, we're playing this. If you get reports, this is what we're doing. What do you need from us, kind of a thing, to make sure that this is that we don't get, people don't get scared or whatever type of a thing. So yeah, it's a dude, I tell you, it's a hobby you could get into if you're interested in weapons, and if you want to shoot at people, it's like paintball but better.
Yeah, let's go to the Everglades and look for pythons.
Why don't you go be a python hunter? Can't you get pretty big bucks for collecting pythons, and because they're an invasive species in Florida?
I'm not sure if it's big bucks, but I mean, yeah, they have bounties for pythons. But I don't think you could just pull over on the side of a road and then walk 50 yards and ta-da, here's a python. I think you have to, I mean, you probably could, but if I could guess, you probably have to go like deep into the swamp or the Everglades and then start finding them. Meanwhile, you might get hit by other animals. What are you typing?
I'm just answering a prompt thing so I can keep this chain going for changes. I'm sorry, I'm not being.
How often you got to do rework because it went on its own path?
It's usually not so much rework because it went on its own path. It's more like it's just evolutionary shaping. Like, oh, it did what I asked it to do, but I didn't tell it. I gave it ambiguous instructions. So like one of the things I do with Claude now all the time is, if anything is ambiguous, use your question asking skill to ask me first. Don't make your own assumptions. And so that's what this is I got oh, well, how do you want to handle this model change? And now I'm telling it I want to do it like this.
I'll show you my spec. I got a whole bunch of. I'll show you what I have. It's probably reminiscent of what you have. So, if I go to README, here's my spec for the application, along with UI UX guidelines. So it's like 500 lines. right?
Big spec, and it looks like this is a to-do list and stuff. Yeah, that's getting to something like this that can actually be fed and require less. Like nobody has a good standard yet to do this, and that's what everyone is trying to solve right now. I think not everyone, but a lot of people are trying to solve how do we properly spec code so that agents can do the work.
Yeah, so
without just writing the code,
Yeah, and then I have a notes folder, and these are basically requirements for each feature, right? So yesterday I added, or the last maybe 2-3 days, I added a gamification feature, and this thing stretches pretty far because it doesn't word wrap. So I added like a gamification feature, and then I also added a points return on investment feature, which is like a marketplace or whatever. And so I'm still doing this by hand, but that's the setup that I have. Is your stuff pretty similar when it comes to like how you organize your solution explorer?
It's pretty close. I mean, in terms of a lot of LLMs will put those stuff into a docs folder, or within their own like console. Like Claude will have a .claude folder in your directory, and you put that stuff there if you're exclusively using Claude. But if you're using multiple agents, Codex, Gemini, or Claude, or whatever to do it, then you might do it in like a docs folder where it's that. But to get that structured and to keep it consistent and to deal with change with multiple people changing it, it's not a solved problem. Like people are like a new way to do it is coming out like every few days. Like structure your things like this, or build your things like this, or whatever. And so if you can get yourself to a place where you don't write code, you just modify specs and it produces good code. And especially if you can get it to do it against existing systems that don't have that all set up, that's something you could build and be a leader on right now, but it won't be that way probably after maybe 2 more years. The industry is going to settle on like, oh, we found the way that most people do this, and then the rush for that will be over. But like I said, everybody's looking for. It'd be like we've invented a compiler, but we haven't invented the high-level language yet. It's like you have assembly. We've invented a thing that's a compiler, but we haven't invented C yet. So everyone's trying to invent C, that higher level of abstraction. How do you bring like UI mockups? How do you bring requirements, decisions, ontology, invariance? Like how do you take that spec and make it and convert it into tests that actually test the spec? Like the system, to me, the most interesting thing right now in software is building systems to build systems, and putting it at a higher level of abstraction, and then making it so that the code artifacts are totally custom and that you own them. So you're not dealing with like third-party ownership of stuff. It's there's, like I said, there's a whole world out there that you're missing out on from an engineering perspective that's really interesting, that you don't really get into until you start facing these problems yourself. So it's like the first I think like for people, there's probably like this hierarchy or capability model where it's first like I use LLMs and I feed it code on the side and I get some feedback and then I integrate that manually. The next one is like, okay, now I start using a tool like Claude Code to do that with me. And then there's probably a layer above that. Now I've systematized using many Claude Code or agents to do work for me from some sort of thing. And then you'd eventually get to a place where that's all behind the scenes. And now I'm just working. This was the thing I was building. I was trying to build out was a Slack collaboration tool where your product is the is deeply entrenched into the structure of the channels on it, Slack. So you've probably used Slack or Teams, right?
A long time ago.
How do you communicate at work?
Well, I mean, Slack. I used Slack a long time ago. I use Teams right now.
Yeah, so Teams or Slack, any of them with channels and stuff like that. So if you had a channel specific to, let's say this is a part of a system, right? Your app is part of a system. Or maybe you have a channel for the back end and then one for the app, the server, the app, and they're all in your Slack. And what you do is you and team members go in and discuss what you're trying to accomplish. And then what I wanted to do is have this like human interaction plus monologues layer, and then some driving layers where you can kind of direct it. That would feed down, funnel, and get distilled by LLMs into a spec that then you as a human go in and refine and clean up and make decisions on or correct. And then that gets down into an actual database, or is a spec database, right? The big thing is changing. How do we deal with change? That I don't think is figured out. Because if you just give someone a spec for a new thing, it's pretty easy. But it's like, how do you take that now, change it, know what the changes you want to make are, and actually apply that spec change to the system? I don't know if that's really greatly solved yet. But that would be the next thing is like, okay, so you've realized, you get to the spec, and then you do like essentially a compile step, which I'm calling realizing. So you realize the spec, it generates all the code, then you run it, test it. Oh, this doesn't match what I want. You go back, have conversations about it in the Slack tool. You do another spec change and then realize it. There's all sorts of stuff going on there. A lot of people are moving because agents churn up a lot of space on local machines. People are moving this to the cloud. Like it spins up entire development environments and testing environments. It's basically like a big dev container. And then you have an agent run in that Docker container, self-contained, autonomously, with a high level of permission. But it's a sandbox environment, so that it can't do a lot of damage. And then it just builds it in the background, and then you get the resulting app. You do your manual testing or whatever you want to do to check it. And then you have to, again, feed it a new set of instructions. I think where the thing is right now is everyone's just typing into the prompts and directing and shaping that way. But that needs to, in my mind, turn into a collaborative experience, not a single person experience. Like we shouldn't independently be working on code branches anymore. We should get to, and this is the thing is trunk-based development where you're always checking in to main, no short-lived feature branches, code reviews going away. All of that is a real thing now. The agents are doing that for you. It's part of their system. If you just funnel that to a single system that does it, you don't need branching anymore. Even for multi teams, because people aren't trying to work parallel anymore. They can let the agents work in parallel. And they'll utilize those tools if they need to. So I said there's a whole brave new world out there that you're missing by not.
Everything you just said, you could have delivered in a conference talk. Yeah, probably. But every conference talk is that basically now. I think software conferences are going to die in the next 2 years. So you could, when you test the quote unquote spec, you can, depending on the language and the how you write the code, you can incorporate edge case testing by using property-based testing. So it's going to expose the edge cases that don't fit the assumptions of the features that you declare.
Yeah, and there's a whole new things that are now unlocked too for testing. Like, have you heard of mutant testing or mutation testing?
Yeah, I'm the one that got you hooked to it.
No, I read about something else.
No,
but you heard about it. You make a mutation, and then you run the tests and make sure that it breaks.
It still passes.
Yeah. That was hard for people to do. It's extremely easy for agents to do because they can just go in, find a spot, flip it, run the tests, and then they can come up with a report of how effective your tests are, or just go ahead and proceed to fix it, or tell you here's a gap. Is what what's the thing?
I mean, I use I used it to hate on other developers. I'm sorry, I'm competitive, man. Like,
Yeah.
because
But-
they would be mandated to write unit tests, and then like their tests wouldn't do anything because they don't know how to write a test, and I would just call it out.
And now they don't need to because they'll just have the LLMs write it.
Well, hopefully they're out the industry, but they're probably not because I'm the only person that actually sees value in automated tests, and everybody looks at me like I'm a Samuel Jackson.
Nope.
Crazy
That's another
man.
thing, is that tests are extremely important now, more than they were before, even because if you're having agents write it, how do you validate it? Automated tests are really the only good way to do it, to get the speed. Otherwise, you're going to be gated.
No, they'll hire a whole bunch of foreign workers to do manual testing. Like they
Why?
always do.
Why? No,
That's because the industry works.
It's cheaper to buy tokens now than it is to buy. I think the offshoring is dead, too. Honestly, I don't think we'll do offshoring anymore.
It's not. I feel like I'm in the United Nations town hall meeting every morning.
Yeah, that's because you're in an organization that is not trying to advance to the next level of software development.
Yeah, get
yourself into an org where like I'm in, where we're trying to advance to that next level, and dude, it's fun. Like I'm having more fun.
Are they hiring?
So like, remember when you're a new developer and it was like everything was so interesting and cool, and then you sort of figured it out, what's possible and what's not, what's hard, what's easy, and everything just became kind of a chore to write code. You don't need to do that anymore. It's back to the age of being fun again.
I'm going to tell you what I told one of my mentors a couple of days ago when he was telling me about getting a scuba diving training and certification. I was telling him I don't care about building software that much anymore like I used to. And the difference is the following. When I knew that I could increase my hourly rate by accumulating new skills and demonstrating those skills, I was on it. I was motivated. All I have to do is unlock this achievement and I get more money so I could get more things. Since I hit my salary cap, what's the point of me being gung-ho about software development if there's no return on investment? Why am I going to invest nights, weekends, early mornings doing that stuff if I don't get recognized financially or even status-wise? I'm always going to spend that time doing things that, I don't know, go on a nature walk or play with a kid or something, or son.
Yeah.
That is
well,
you've
right. I know how much you like kids. No. But the thing is I don't think the thing is you hit your salary cap as a cost center software engineer in the old world. I don't think you've reached your salary cap of what's possible now. If you can be essentially a one-man CTO and bring that to the 100x thing, the guy who builds the system and maintains the system that builds systems for an organization, your salary isn't capped right now. Mine's not capped. I said fully in on the idea that and I had this epiphany reading with this book that I was reading or something else, made these connections so software development, what we've done as engineers and programming specifically, has been always a cost center activity. You're not a revenue generator, you're a cost center. You're the liability, not the asset. Mm-hmm. And so I think what software engineers need to do now is transition their mindset and their ideas from how do I build code and do this so that they can generate revenue to how can I impact this organization in a way that generates revenue such that I am valuable as a person and what I contribute to the organization isn't a service that they can outsource to many people because we're replaceable drones. It's no, I'm a key revenue generator for this organization. I bring new ideas. I bring new patterns. I bring new solutions. I bring new ways that the company can make money. and I implement them extremely fast using agents and systems of software engineering. And I think if that's like my mindset of where I need to move to, is I need to get myself out of the thing of being like, what is the business? Give me the spec. And I was never like this anyways, but which is probably why I've had success in my career. But I've never been someone who, give me the spec. Okay, I need the complete spec. I know developers like this. You probably do too. They need the complete spec, and then they'll just go program it. And they're programmers, right? They're not really developers. Or it's like they engineer, but it's for very particular hard problems within that space. But to actually contribute back and say, if we did this, we can save this, or we can generate more revenue, or here's an idea that our clients will like, and here I've implemented already. What do you think of this prototype? Yeah, I was talking Gamma earlier to Scott about the about spec-driven development, and that I think the industry right now is trying to find this next level of, like, we've built the compiler, but we haven't built the next level language yet. Specs seem to be what that is, but nobody's defined the spec for specs yet. That's been super successful. And I think the main thing for me in my mind is change management. How do you modify a spec and get that modified spec realized into the system? And then 2, how do you reverse engineer a spec from existing code bases so that you can do change to them with an LLM? So, or an agent, or whatever, agent system agents, a squad of agents. But anyways, yeah, like, I know I'm speaking all pie in the sky type stuff, but I think there's a ton of opportunity that people are laying down because programming's dying as a trade. But engineering and development and product engineering isn't dying. Like, it'll explode, I think, because people need more ideas, different ways to compose things, and now it's cheap to actually try those things. So you can literally, we have people now in our org spinning up, like, all business users are spinning up prototypes in this tool called Magic Patterns. And, we're building prototypes in Figma and prototypes in other things, and people are building code prototypes, and we want to have our system to be prototypable natively. There's this whole new world that you, like, I'm seeing, but maybe in your organization you're not seeing. And it's exciting. It's fun. It's extremely fun. Like, I've had more fun as a software engineer in the last year than I have probably in the previous 10 before that. Because I get to do more of what I like to do, which is actually contribute back ideas and contribute back and coordinate and try to solve problems and set up contracts that allow people to work independently and things like that. I probably should hang it up here, though.
Yep.
I've got a huge amount of work ahead of me today, and
Everybody
I'm gonna
is
probably work the
got all
weekend.
about this except for me.
Yeah, because you need to have this aha moment, I think, and every developer has to go through it. People who don't go through it are going to be the ones that fall off. Product people are having it, and then they ask the question, well, why do we need the engineers on there? But the thing is, engineers good ones anyways, have never been just spec to code writers. They've never been just programmers. Like, give me the spec and I'll write it. They're always ones that think about the system as a whole, how things affect people, contribute back new ideas, say that this UX pattern sucks and this is why, and we should fix it this way. And they actually develop the product itself, not just the code behind the product. That's the differentiator, is people who are product focused and product engineer are having a great time. People who are code focused and programming focused are not having. Yeah.
I don't had a aha moment so far. So far, it has been a good helper for certain things and unstable for other stuff.
Unusable.
Says Gambler.
Yeah. Well, I've had it. I've had epiphanies. Like, it's, oh, this can do this. Programming's dead. It's going to be dead. Like, nobody's going to be writing code anymore. We've built another compiler, human language to code compiler. It's just that, like I said, I don't think we have a reliable way to capture human language into a thing that the LLM can reliably, usably convert into code. It's all non-deterministic, so it makes sense. But there's people trying to solve that problem now. It's a fun problem. So
On that note, it's been real. Thanks for the encouragement.
Yep, getting there stuff though. It's fun.
My $70 basketball should be here tomorrow. And,
Yep. All right.
Yeah, we'll catch up.
Catch you next week. Yep. Bye.
Yep. See you again, Laura. Bye.